Hey guys, it's Liz of Consume My Books, and I'm here to do a book haul for you, and this is another big one, just like all of them. Surprise, surprise. But I do have some review books to start with, so let's do those. I have a copy of The Geeks Guide to Dating by Eric Smith. For those of you who don't know, Eric is a publisher at Quirk Books, and this is a book all about geekery and dating. It'll probably have some video game references that I don't understand, but I know a lot of geeks, so I'll at least have an idea. So I think it'll be a really fun read. And he also included a poster, which is hopefully going to be right side up when I open it. So that was very awesome. Thank you so much, Eric, for sending this my way. Looking forward to taking a look at that. Next up, I got actually another book that Eric sent my way from Quirk Books. This is Nick and Tesla's High Voltage Danger Lab. This is by Science Bob Folgfelder and Steve Hockensmith, and I apologize if I mispronounced that. This is kind of a middle grade adventure about probably Nikola Tesla and like his inventions, and kids who are named Nick and Tesla. So I'm excited to pick this one up because Nikola Tesla, I hope I said that right, is pretty awesome. And I got a couple books from Macmillan. She Is Not Invisible by Marcus Sedgwick. The thing about Marcus Sedgwick is that all of his books sound really different. I read Winter Blood and I wasn't really a fan of this one. This is about a girl who gets a mysterious message in her father's writing notebook, and I don't really know too much about it. I'm curious to see what exactly it is about. The main character is blind, so it'll be interesting to see how the blog Disability in Kidlit, excuse me, how they interpret the use of a blind character in this book, or maybe not the use, but yeah, I guess the use of a blind character. But this should be an interesting read. We'll see if it's more so my thing than Midwinter Blood or not. I also have Revolver by him, so. I also got a copy of Grandmaster. This is by David Class. I think I read one of his books a really long time ago. It was like California Beautiful. I think it had a butterfly on the cover. I'll have to look it up. But this one is about chess, obviously, and I don't know much more besides that. But it sounds interesting. And then a book with really sweet packaging that you've probably seen in other book hauls and on my Instagram if you follow me there. This is The Winner's Curse by Marie, something that starts with an R. Actually, we're just going to find out. So, you pull the dagger out. I'm trying to keep it intact, but it's so awesome that I just want to play with it all the time. And then it is by Marie Rutkowski. And this is a high fantasy book. Everyone that's read it has said it's the type of book that you read in a sitting. And I'm a really big fan of this cover. I know this is already landing on a lot of favorites list, and it's not even out yet. So I am really excited to read this one, and it comes out in February, I believe. Now I have to put the dagger back. There we go. And those are the last of my review books. The rest is stuff I bought. This is probably like 2 months worth of book buying here, so yeah. I have a copy of Saving Francesca by Melina Marchetta. I'll always wonder how to pronounce that. I reread Jellicoe Road last year with Allie, who I blog with over at Library Lore, and I was just like, I need more Melina Marchetta. That's it. I need more. So I'm going to read that soon. I was hoping for the really cute orange cover that I see on Goodreads, but this is not that. So maybe I'll get that one if I happen upon it someday. I got a copy of Faultline by Krista Desier, and I have already read this one. It says C. Deser on the front, but it is in fact by Krista Desier. This book is from the point of view of a boy whose girlfriend was raped. So you see a little bit of the before, how their relationship and how the girl is before the assault, and then you find out what they're both like afterwards and how that changes their relationship. This is the kind of read that almost leaves you kind of queasy the whole time you're reading it, because it's just so hard to see what happens to all of these characters, but it is a really good book, I think, and I think it offers a fresh perspective on a topic that is often addressed, as it should be, because, you know, rape is still a huge concern in our society. So I really did appreciate the fact that Desir, you know, addressed this so frankly and took it on from that new perspective. And I'm hoping to review this one soon. Next up, a book that I read and loved and had to buy a finished copy of because the finished copy is gorgeous, and that is Golden by Jessie Kirby. So this is about a girl named Parker, and she has been the type of person who always follows the rules in life. She's a really good student, and then she discovers the journal of a high school student who supposedly died a couple years back, and she has to decide what to do about that. And I will not tell you much, except that she finally does take a couple of risks, and that the writing in this book is beautiful. It was the type of book that kept me up reading way past my bedtime because I had to know what happened. I got a book that has been getting a lot of award buzz and has been highly appraised for being beautifully written, and that is Wild Awake by Hilary T. Smith. I don't know much about this one. I think it's about a girl who hears that she'll have the chance to chase down someone who is missing. Someone who knew her sister who has since passed on. So, yes, that is what this is about. I've heard it also deals with mental illness. And also, let's just talk about what a beautiful finished copy this is. And if you go inside the flaps, it's also stunning. So clearly I don't have a great grasp on this one, like the concept, but it sounds amazing. I'll read you the quote from the back cover, which people Instagrammed, and that's why I decided to buy it. And the quote is, "It's amazing how well you can get to know a person if you actually pay attention. People are like cities. We all have alleys and gardens and secret rooftops and places where daisies sprout between the sidewalk cracks, but most of the time all we let each other see is a postcard glimpse of a floodlit statue or a skyline. Love lets you find those hidden places in another person, even the ones they didn't know were there, even the ones they wouldn't have thought to call beautiful themselves." Like, how is that supposed to make me not want to read that book? Now I really want to read that book. Anyways, I got a copy of The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater, and it has a book plate in it for Liz Maggie, and there's a raven doodled in it. This is the sequel to The Raven Boys, so I have not read The Raven Boys yet, but it's Maggie Stiefvater. No, I'm gonna love it, so I went ahead and got The Dream Thieves. Maggie's just one of those authors whose books I always love, which I know is not the case for everyone, but for me, I love her. Because it was only $6 on Amazon, I got The Spindlers by Lauren Oliver. I don't know much about this one, except that it is middle grade and definitely on the fantasy side. So I'm looking forward to eventually picking this one up. And I bought yet another book that I've already read and loved. I read this one as an ARC and then sent that on to someone, so I had to buy a hardcover. And that is This Is Where the Stars Still Shine by Trish Dollar. This is about a girl whose mother kidnapped her at a very young age, mentally ill mother, and she took her away from her father. And basically, the cops finally catch up with Callie's mother, and Callie goes to live with her father in Florida, which is very weird because she has this whole family that's been missing her for years. And, you know, she has a stepmom, and there's an awesome love interest who I really enjoyed, and Callie's family is Greek, so there are many descriptions of Greek food, and basically, long story short, is that you need to read this book, and also that I really like this cover. And the cover actually has a really nice tie-in to the book, which sometimes you're like, okay, that's a really nice cover, but why is it the cover? Not the case here, so very much looking forward to reading that. I also got Snakeroot by Andrea Kremer. This is the start of a spin-off of the Nightshade series. I don't know anything more about it than that. I believe it deals with Adney. Yep, it deals with Adney, who is pretty awesome, so I'm excited about that. I got another book in a series, actually. These are all series books. Changeless by Gail Carriger. This is book 2 in the Parasol Protectorate series. The first book is Soulless. I read that in either January or February of 2013, so I'm excited to get to this one. Next up, I have a copy of The Bitter Kingdom, which is by Ray Carson. This is the final book in the Fire and Thorns trilogy. Look at how beautiful this spine and back cover are. I actually bought this one before I was even completely done with Fire and Thorns because I loved it so much. Such a good book. And I'm so excited to read Crown of Embers, which I already had, and then this one. And finally, the last book in this haul is Scarlet by A.C. Gaughan. I requested Lady Thief, which is the sequel to this, on NetGalley without realizing that it was a sequel. Oops! So I was placing an Amazon order one day because I decided that I needed the cutting edge within the next 24 hours. And I was like, you know what, the cutting edge is only $5. I'm going to get a book. And so I decided to get this one because I'd already been approved for the sequel and it's in paperback and I've been hearing really amazing things about it. So now I own it. So that is it for this book haul. That is everything that I have gotten. I want to hear about what you guys have, so be sure to leave links in the comments and I will come and check it out. Until next time, happy reading!